Hello dear 7th graders and welcome to another English lesson. My name is Iva Vilček, your English teacher for today, and our topic today is Go Green. After today's lesson, you will be able to understand the text about environmental awareness by listening, and you will use expressions for giving advice in a short text. For the lesson, you need a notebook and something to write with, a device with internet connection, a QR code reader, and keep in mind that at any point during the lesson, you can rewind or pause the video if you need more time to do the task or if you need to read something again. Now, if you have everything necessary, let's start the lesson. As I have said at the beginning of the presentation, our lesson is called Go Green. What does this phrase mean? What do you think? Take a few moments and think about the answer to this question. To go green means to make more environmentally friendly decisions. We usually connect this phrase to the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Are you environmentally friendly? How are you environmentally friendly? Now open your notebooks and make a list of things you and your family do that are eco-friendly. Pause the video to do the task. Let's take a look at some things we can all do to start making more environmentally friendly decisions. I'm sure you have all used plastic cups at least once in your life. For example, when celebrating your birthday or when camping. What can we use instead of plastic cups? We can use paper cups. How about using plastic toothbrushes? Are there alternatives? We can use wooden toothbrushes. We all like taking long baths, don't we? But in that way, we use too much water. Instead, we can take showers. We all know that air pollution is a big issue around the world, and the big cause of this issue are fumes made by traffic. So instead of using cars, let's try using public transport or go to work or school by bike or on foot. It's good for the environment as well as our health. In our households, we all use a lot of batteries. And instead of using toxic alkaline batteries, we can use rechargeable ones. Do you have some other ideas? Try thinking about the things you do or use daily that harm the environment and think about the possible alternatives. Another thing we can try doing is upcycling. Do you have any idea what upcycling is? To upcycle means to make something new out of old, used things. I'm sure you have already done this and you have some ideas on what upcycling is, but let's take a look at some other ideas. For example, you can use old tires, old cans, or old bikes to plant flowers and use them to decorate your garden. Or you can use wooden pallets to make furniture or decorations for your house. You can also do something simple, like use old jars to store your school supplies. I hope I have given you some ideas. If you need more upcycling ideas, you can copy this link, bit.ly DIY47, or scan this QR code to open another English online lesson by teacher Ljerka Vukic. The lesson is called Do It Yourself. Enjoy! In our lesson today, you will listen to a conversation about some ecological topics. Before doing so, let's take a look at some vocabulary important for this conversation. Do you know what this is? It's a cloth bag. How about this? It's compost. What are these? Wooden pellets. Do you know what these are? Energy-saving light bulbs. And what are these? These are solar panels. Excellent job. To practice the vocabulary, you have a task to do. You can copy this link into your browser, bit.ly gogreen7, or scan this QR code to open the task. You have to fill in the sentences with the phrases we have seen in the last slide. Pause the video to do the task, and when you have finished, start the video again. Now we will listen to the conversation between three students, Dora, Ana Maria, and Domagoj, who are in the same class at school. They are talking about some ecological topics. Your first task is to listen carefully and choose the topics the students are talking about. Here on the slide, you can see three topics, which means there is one you do not need. Listen carefully.
Hi Dora and Dana, what are you doing?
Hi Domagoj, we're talking about a new eco workshop.
Is it something you're doing in your eco group?
Yes, this weekend we're upcycling old bikes and using them to decorate our schoolyard.
Upcycling.
It means that we use old things to make something new. For example, we make benches from wood pallets and pillows from old clothes.
I know you are interested in ecology. I read your brochure about eco-friendly houses. What does that mean?
It means that at home we do everything we can to preserve the environment around us. For example, we use energy-saving light bulbs and we have solar panels on our roof. We don't throw away food, but we freeze leftovers or we make compost. We also take showers instead of baths.
Is your family eco-friendly, Anna?
We try to be. We use cloth bags instead of plastic ones when we go shopping, and we don't use any other plastic product. We also separate our waste.
That's excellent. That is why you're both in eco group. How many of you are there?
There are 20 students in the group as well as 2 teachers. Sometimes we include our parents as well as our local community and do projects together.
I'm thinking about joining the group as well. What do you do there?
We organize all kinds of activities connected to our college. For example, we have a garden and we make compost from food leftovers. We upcycle old things and make furniture for the school hall. We also make decoration that we sell at Christmas and Easter markets. We also organize cleanups every 2 months.
I really like how your families take care of nature. I wish my family would be eco-friendlier. What can we do to start taking better care of nature?
Well, you should start from your home. Stop using plastic products like plastic toothbrushes and use wooden instead. You shouldn't leave the lights on when you're not in the room or keep the water running while brushing your teeth. You should also try going to school by bike or on foot whenever you can.
I recommend telling your mom to plan the shopping because that way you buy only what you need, which means that you will make so much waste. If you have food leftovers, store them or freeze them, and if you have a garden, you can make compost. If I were you, I would start donating old clothes and toys instead of throwing them away. And what extra upcycling? It's a lot of fun.
Excellent ideas. I'll definitely tell my family about them. But for now, let me join our eco group and learn more.
Okay, so which two topics are the students talking about? They are talking about their eco-friendly families and eco-group in their school. Good job. In the conversation, Anna and Dora mentioned that they live in eco-friendly houses. Do you have any idea what an eco-friendly house is? And what do the people living in this house do? Let's take a look at some ideas. They use energy-saving light bulbs. They recycle. They separate waste. They plan the shopping. They make compost. They plant organic garden. They freeze leftover food. They take showers. And they turn off electric devices. Now that we have seen some possibilities, think about your house. Do you live in an eco-friendly house? What does your family do that is eco-friendly? Students also mention their school's eco group, so we can say that they go to an eco school. Do you have any ideas what an eco school does? Let's see. They upcycle. They organize cleanups. They use solar panels. Students walk to school. They print less paper. They collect and donate clothes. And they organize tree planting. Is your school an eco school? Now we will listen to the conversation again, and this time you have to answer these 5 questions. How are the students decorating their schoolyard? What do Dora and Anna's families do to be eco-friendly? What can people do with leftover food? What do the students in the eco group use all things for? And what do the girls advise Domagoy to do with all clothes and toys? Rewind the video now to listen to the conversation again. And here are the answers to the questions. They're upcycling old bikes and using them to decorate their schoolyard. They use energy-saving light bulbs and solar panels, and they take showers instead of baths. They also use cloth bags and separate waste. They can freeze it or use it to make compost. They upcycle old things and make furniture for the school hall. And they make decorations they sell at the Christmas and Easter markets. And they advise him to donate clothes and toys his family no longer needs. I hope you did a good job. If you want or need to read the transcript of the conversation, you can copy this link bit.ly eco747 to your device or scan this QR code to open it. In the conversation, Anna and Dora give advice to Domagoy on how he and his family can be eco-friendlier. You will see now that there are different ways in which we can give advice in English language. Let's read the first example. You should take showers instead of long baths, and you shouldn't leave the lights on when you're not in the room. In the sentences, you can see verbs should and shouldn't, written in red. Do you recognize these verbs? These are modal verbs. So to give advice, we can use modal verbs should and shouldn't. These verbs are followed by an infinitive form of the main verb. Next example. Why don't you try upcycling? And how about using energy-saving light bulbs? What are the students using here? They are using questions to give advice. And the questions start with, why don't you? And how about? When we use questions to give advice, we make the advice less direct. That is, we advise the person to consider about the advice we are giving. Next example. I suggest making compost from fruit and vegetable leftovers, and I recommend donating clothes. Here we also have some verbs written in red. I suggest and I recommend. This is another good way of giving advice that is not too direct, but more like a suggestion. Phrases I suggest and I recommend are followed by an ing form of the main verb. And the last example, start walking to school and stop using plastic products. Do you recognize this verb form? It is the imperative verb form. Sometimes the imperative sounds very direct and can be considered impolite. So you can make it more polite by adding the word please, for example. As you can see, there are different ways in which we can give advice in English language. Now we will practice giving advice. I will give you a problem, and you have to use one of the phrases we have just mentioned to give advice on how to help me solve this problem. Write the sentences in your notebooks. The first problem is, my family spends too much money on electricity bills. Write the advice in your notebooks. Let's take a look at the advice I have written. How about putting solar panels on your roof? Next problem. I don't know what to do with fruit and vegetable leftovers. Write your advice in your notebooks. Let's see the example. Why don't you try making compost for your garden? Next. I always spend so much money when I go shopping. Write the advice in your notebooks again. I recommend making a shopping list. Next. My sister has a lot of old clothes she will never wear again. Write the advice in your notebooks. She should donate it to charity. My family uses plastic products a lot. Start using cloth bags for shopping and stop drinking water from plastic bottles. And here is a task for you. You will make a poster about an upcycling workshop in your school, and you will invite people to participate. The poster has to contain the name of the workshop, the time and the place where the workshop will happen. You have to make a list of things people should bring and give advice on what they should wear or do. You have to use expressions for giving advice. If you don't have an idea about what a poster should look like, you can see the one I have created here on the slide. And as usual, we have a short self-assessment at the end of the lesson. Read the statements and give a proper emoji. I can understand the text about ecology by listening to it, and I can use expressions for giving advice in sentences. And dear students, we have come to the end of our today's lesson. I hope you have learned something new today, and I hope I have given you some ideas on how you and your family can go green and help solve some major environmental issues. Goodbye until our next English lesson.